Ever been stranded by your bike? One cheap part fails and you're stuck waiting for a tow. But some bikes, they're unkillable. Today we're counting down 15 ultra-reliable Japanese motorcycles. Machines that survive years of abuse and still start on the first try. If you hate breakdowns, this list is your fix. Number 15. Honda CB125T. Don't let the size fool you. This little twin punches way above its weight in one department: survival. The Honda CB125T is a mechanical cockroach. It's not flashy, it's not fast. The CB125T became the go-to bike for beginners, commuters, and anyone who just needed a ride that worked every single day. At its heart is a 124 cubic centimeter air-cooled inline twin. Smooth, simple, and shockingly robust. With basic maintenance, these engines often surpass 50,000 miles, and many are still running today. No fuel injection, no digital headaches, just clean carbs and old-school grit. Its steel frame, twin shocks, and counterbalanced engine layout mean minimal wear, even under stress. And thanks to Honda's global parts support, rebuild kits and spares are still easy to find and dirt cheap. Now here's the kicker. If you want one today, they're still out there. A decent used CB125T can range from $1,800 to $3,000, while mint or restored models may fetch $3,500, $100 to $5,000. And if you're lucky enough to find a mint condition or fully restored example, you're looking at around $3,000, maybe $35. Compared to its two-stroke rivals like the Yamaha RD125 or Kawasaki KH125, the CB125T isn't the fastest, but it lasts the longest, period. Sure, it's not modern, no ABS, no fancy dash, but it starts, it runs, and it keeps going, even if you forget about it for a decade. The CB125T doesn't win races, it wins time, and that's why it kicks off this list as the first in a countdown of Japanese bikes that just won't die. But what if that kind of toughness was packed into something bigger, meaner, and born to eat dirt trails for breakfast? You're about to meet the bike that takes that same survival instinct and turns it feral. Number 14. Suzuki DR650. When it comes to motorcycles that simply refuse to die, few can match the iron-willed persistence of the Suzuki DR650. Its air and oil-cooled, 644 cubic centimeter, single-cylinder engine is built like a tank. With regular care, riders routinely report over 100,000 miles without cracking open the engine. One legendary owner, he rode his DR past 118,000 miles before a full rebuild. The secret: old-school simplicity. No fuel pump, no liquid cooling, no complex electronics to strand you in the middle of nowhere. This is a machine designed for the long haul, not showroom gimmicks. Routine maintenance, cakewalk, manual screw-type valve adjusters, easily accessible oil and air filters, and parts so common they practically grow on trees. And it's efficient too, averaging 50 miles per gallon. Add in low parts cost, a massive aftermarket, and a resale value that barely budges, and you've got one of the most economical rides on earth. If you are shopping for a Suzuki DR650 in good ready-to-ride condition, expect to spend between $5,000 and $7,000 or more according to current market data. That's not just a deal, it's a bargain for a machine that's proven. Weaknesses: a lean factory tune and a firm seat, both easily fixed with cheap upgrades. Compared to other Japanese dual sports, the DR650 ranks at the very top for documented longevity and simplicity. This is not just a bike, it's a global travel partner, a survival tool, and a legend that refuses to quit. The DR650 is a hammer, dependable, rugged, built to take a beating and keep moving. But not every rider's chasing dust trails and oil changes on the side of the road. Some want a machine that handles like a scalpel, revs like a banshee, and still lives long enough to outlast your youthful recklessness. That brings us to something sharper. Number 13. Suzuki Bandit 1250. The Suzuki Bandit 1250 is a torque monster with a reputation for outliving its owners. Riders across the globe have clocked well over 80,000 miles without even opening the engine. This bike isn't just reliable, it's a tank with handlebars. At its core sits a 1,250cc air and oil-cooled inline-4, pumping out 95 to 100 horsepower and a mountain of 80 foot-pounds of torque, all down low where you actually use it. That means effortless passing, relaxed cruising, and grin-inducing pull in every gear. Keep up on oil changes and valve checks, and this motor will go the distance. No drama, no surprises. It doesn't need fancy electronics to survive, just regular care and good old-school engineering. No throttle by wire, no traction control to glitch out. Just a bulletproof, fuel-injected powerhouse inside a tough tube steel frame that shrugs off time and mileage. Parts? Everywhere. Thanks to Suzuki's shared architecture, filters, gaskets, levers, and brake pads are all easy to find and cheap to replace. Fuel economy hovers around 40 miles per gallon, and you get a full-size sport tourer that costs less to insure than some mopeds. Riders report full coverage under $300 a year, especially once it clears that classic bike age bracket. Best of all, you can pick up a clean, low-mileage Bandit for $3,500 to $5,000, depending on mods and year. Try finding that kind of grunt and reliability in any modern bike without spending double. The Bandit 1250 is the workhorse that never asks for applause. It just shows up, fires up, and gets the job done, over and over and over again. Until now, we're only a few bikes in, but already we've seen machines that laugh in the face of time. And trust me, the real monsters of longevity are still coming. If you're into bikes that outlast trends, outlive expectations, and just keep going, hit that like button and subscribe to stay locked in. Because around here, we don't just talk bikes, we celebrate the ones that were built to go the distance. Number 12, Yamaha XT500. If dependability had a heartbeat, it would sound like the Yamaha XT500. This machine isn't just dependable, it's practically immortal. Produced from the mid-1970s into the early 80s, it earned a rock-solid reputation for being nearly indestructible. At its core, a 499 cubic centimeter air-cooled, four-stroke single-cylinder engine. No complicated electronics, no liquid cooling, just good old-fashioned mechanical toughness. Owners regularly report over 50,000 to 100,000 miles, with little more than oil changes and occasional valve adjustments. The XT500 wasn't pampered. It tackled deserts, remote trails, and even cross-country rides with ease. Riders say it starts up after sitting for years and keeps running strong on minimal upkeep. Sure, it vibrates. That's the nature of a big thumper. And yes, it uses drum brakes, but it's light, nimble, and easy to work on. Replacement parts are still widely available, and maintenance is straightforward, even for beginner mechanics. In today's market, well-preserved XT500s can fetch around $10,000. Collectors and riders alike appreciate its rugged charm and battle-proven longevity. Some motorcycles are flashy, some are fast, but the XT500 is different. It's honest, durable, built to survive whatever the road throws at it. When the world ends, there will be cockroaches, cassette tapes, and the Yamaha XT500 still thumping down a dusty trail, just like always. The XT500 earned its stripes in the dirt, simple, rugged, and impossible to kill. But endurance doesn't always have to come wrapped in dust and drum brakes. Some riders want that same bulletproof reputation with a smoother ride, highway comfort, and a little more muscle and reserve. That's where things start to shift, toward a machine built not just to survive, but to thrive. Number 11, Honda VFR 800. Some bikes age, others just keep going. The Honda VFR 800, it refuses to slow down. This sport touring masterpiece blends racing DNA with everyday toughness, and it shows. Riders report their VFRs pushing past 100,000 miles, even near 200,000 on the original engine. That's not a fluke. That's Honda engineering. At the heart is a V4 engine, strong, smooth, and famously low maintenance. Inspired by Honda's racing roots, earlier models used gear-driven cams, but the VFR 800 VTEC switched to cam chain tensioners later. Minimal electronics, and a bulletproof layout. Many owners ride their VFRs for over a decade with nothing but oil, filters, and chain care. Major service? Every 32,000 miles. That's nearly unheard of, and most riders say even then, not much needs adjusting. Early 2000s VFR 800 VTEC models go for around $2,500 to $5,500. Pristine, low-mile later models expect up to $6,000 or slightly more from dealers. But it's worth it because resale stays strong and reliability rock solid. Only a few weak points exist, like early regulator rectifier failures or cam chain noise in older models. But both are easily fixed, and parts? Still easy to find, thanks to a loyal community and strong aftermarket. The VFR 800 delivers comfort, power, and staying power, all in one elegant under-the-radar package. It's a rare balance of performance and dependability, and proof that a high-tech sport tourer can still go the distance, year after year, mile after mile. The VFR 800 proved that high-tech engineering and longevity don't have to live in separate worlds. But not every rider needs gear-driven cams and touring credentials to go the distance. Some bikes win hearts by keeping it simple, honest, and unshakably tough, without ever trying to be flashy. And if that's your kind of machine, the next one might just be your forever bike. Number 10. Suzuki SV650. When you hear bulletproof, think Suzuki SV650. This V-twin machine isn't just dependable, it's legendary among riders who clock serious miles and expect their bike to keep going without drama. At its heart is a 645 cubic centimeter, liquid-cooled V-twin engine with a 90-degree layout. It's smooth, naturally balanced, and famously understressed, which means it just does not quit. Many owners have logged over 130,000 miles on the original engine, still running strong with nothing but basic upkeep. Oil and filter every 3,800 miles. Valve check every 15,200. That's it. And if you do the work yourself, it's easy. The SV's simple layout makes DIY maintenance a breeze, and the online community has your back with every guide you could ever need. Replacement parts? Affordable. Fork seals, batteries, stators, all widely available and reasonably priced. Even tires? A full set runs about $350 to $450 installed. Compare that to modern electronics, heavy bikes, and the SV starts to look even smarter. Comfortable for commutes, capable on twisties, and more durable than bikes twice its price. Used examples in great condition today? They usually run between $5,500 and $7,000 with low-mile cream puffs pushing $8,000. The only real complaint? A few older models had voltage regulator issues, maybe the occasional stator or coil, but all cheap fixes and well documented. Whether you're a beginner or a die-hard veteran, the SV650 delivers years or even decades of smooth, affordable, nearly indestructible riding. But if the SV650 is a little too street smart for your tastes, or you're not into carving corners and commuting clean, but still want that same bulletproof reputation with a dirt-loving edge, then don't worry. Chinese companies aren't the only ones filling in the gaps. What we're stepping into next is a single-cylinder mule that eats up abuse like it's breakfast. Number 9. Kawasaki Concours ZG1000. This isn't just a sport tourer, it's a land missile built for decades of duty. The Kawasaki Concours ZG1000 has quietly earned its place as one of the most bulletproof bikes ever built. Real-world owners have logged 100,000, 200,000, even over 300,000 miles, all on the original engine and transmission, and they're still riding. It's secret, old-school engineering with a dose of overbuild. The ZG1000 runs a liquid-cooled inline-4 ripped from the Ninja 1000R, detuned for torque and longevity. It cranks out around 110 horsepower, hits 60 in around 4 seconds, and cruises at 80 all day long without breaking a sweat. With shaft drive, no chain to lube, and a 7.5-gallon tank, it's made for highway devouring. Routine maintenance? Simple and straightforward. Oil every 5,000, valve checks at 17,000 miles, and coolant every 2 years. That's it. You'll spend more time riding than wrenching. And if something does wear out, parts are cheap and plentiful thanks to a huge owner base and nearly 2 decades of production. It's not without quirks. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, the carbs need sinking. And yes, that stock windshield buffets like a tornado. But the ZG community has a fix for everything, from fork upgrades to J-box relays. And they've been swapping tips since the early 1990s. This is the bike that crossed states when GPS was a paper map, the one that's still parked next to modern BMWs and doesn't flinch. You can find a well-maintained Concours for $2,500 to $4,000, fully bagged, ready to tour, and often with a stack of service records. If the ZG1000 doesn't scream for attention, that's because it doesn't have to. It's the quiet professional, the one that just works year after year, mile after mile. Not a poser, not a diva, just a damn good machine that refuses to quit. But if the ZG1000 feels a little too practical for your garage, or you're not into carb tuning, bulky fairings, or 600-pound curb weights, but still want that same same unstoppable grit, just wrapped in vintage metal and retro charm? Then don't worry, there's a machine that's been earning respect for that since the 60s, and it's still going strong. Number 8. Yamaha XS 650. Produced from 1969 through 1985, the Yamaha XS 650 earned a reputation for outlasting just about anything. Its 653 cubic centimeter parallel twin wasn't flashy, but it was damn near unbreakable. Riders have clocked over 50,000 miles on original engines without ever cracking them open. Just basic oil changes and valve checks. This bike wasn't built to sit in a museum. It was designed to be ridden daily, hard, and long. Commuters loved its dependability, while custom builders praised how easy it was to strip down and transform. And the motor? It's been called the British twin without the breakdowns. It delivers hearty low-end torque in a smooth mechanical rhythm without the leaks, quirks, or headaches. In a 1980s owner survey, over 59% of riders reported zero mechanical problems. That's almost unheard of for a vintage machine. Any issues that do pop up are minor and predictable: aging gaskets, worn ignition coils, or a lazy starter motor. But parts are still easy to find, and repairs are refreshingly straightforward. Even better, the XS 650 still has a Kickstarter, because sometimes the old ways just work. Adjusting valves is a breeze. No special tools, no complicated teardown. You could rebuild one in your garage on a Saturday and ride it on Sunday. Clean used examples typically go for between $2,500 and $7,000, and in 2025, Yamaha even announced a modern reissue priced at $9,499 that pays tribute to the original's indestructible soul. Why does this machine live forever? Because it was built with honesty, simple design, rock-solid parts, and a loyal following that keeps the legend alive. The XS 650 isn't just a survivor, it's a fighter, and it never quits. The XS 650 proved that old-school bikes can go the distance without breaking a sweat. But what if you wanted something with that same legendary stamina, only built to handle rough roads, remote trails, and whatever else the world throws your way? Then you're about to meet a machine that doesn't just endure, it escapes. Number 7. Honda NX 650 Dominator. Some motorcycles refuse to die. The Honda NX 650 Dominator is one of them. Born from the bones of Honda's legendary XR line, this rugged, air-cooled, single-cylinder machine is a masterclass in minimalist durability. No fuel injection, no ride modes, no nonsense. At the heart sits a 644cc single that's often called bomb-proof. Owners regularly clock 40 to 60,000 miles with just oil, filters, and valve checks. The dry sump oil and frame setup keeps everything cool and lubed, while the lack of electronic clutter makes it a dream to diagnose and fix, even in the middle of nowhere. And maintenance? Dirt cheap. DIYers love the easy access to engine components, and everything from spark plugs to gaskets is still widely available. You'll find complete maintenance kits online for pocket change, and no special tools or tech wizardry required. Even after decades off the road, these bikes often roar back to life with little more than fresh fluids and a charged battery. The only real issues? Occasionally tired suspension or a finicky CDI, both easily solved. The 2025 Dominator blends the same old-school grit with just enough modern polish, ABS, better suspension, and a digital dash without losing that raw, unstoppable feel. Used Dominators go for $2,000 to $4,000, depending on condition. And yes, they're still out there, still thumping, still refusing to die. A fair price for a modern twist on one of Honda's toughest legends. If you want a Japanese bike that shrugs off miles, chews up bad roads, and keeps thumping long after newer machines give up, the Dominator earns its name. It was built to handle the wild, deserts, back roads, and breakdowns in the middle of nowhere. But what if your battlefield is city streets and highway lanes? What if you want that same die-hard simplicity in a smaller, sleeker, street-first package? Then meet the bike that just won't die, even if you forget it's there. Number 6. Suzuki GS500. If motorcycles had a set-it-and-forget-it mode, the GS500 would be it. Launched in the late 1980s and produced until 2009, the Suzuki GS500 built a reputation as the ultimate no-nonsense warrior. No fragile gadgets, no digital drama, just a simple air-cooled parallel twin made to pile on the miles and keep asking for more. The motor, tough as nails, with regular oil changes and valve checks every 6,000 miles. These engines commonly clock past 60,000, and many push well over 100,000 with no major repairs. No liquid cooling, no electronic fuel injection, just mechanical purity that refuses to quit. Mechanics swear by it, riders rely on it. Motorcycle journalists call it the Toyota Corolla of bikes. Unpretentious, dependable, and long-lasting. It's light, agile, and surprisingly comfortable. And it's not just easy to ride, it's a breeze to maintain. You'll get between 45 and 65 miles per gallon, with real-world riders averaging around 53. Proof this bike sips fuel without sacrificing fun, and basic upkeep costs less than dinner for two. Even bigger services rarely cross $300, and you'll probably only need those once in a blue moon. You can grab solid used models starting around $1,100, with newer, low-mileage ones climbing toward $3,500. Still an absolute bargain. Owners say it best: "My GS500 never let me down. Not once." Still riding strong at over 100,000 miles. It doesn't shout, it doesn't show off, but it just keeps running forever. The GS500 proved that simplicity is sometimes the smartest strategy, but what if you want that same no-fuss dependability with a little more power, a bit more tech, and a whole lot more revs? Well, Yamaha had something to say about that, and it speaks fluently in miles. Number 5. Yamaha FZ6. This bike doesn't just run, it endures. The Yamaha FZ6 packs a legendary 4-stroke engine, derived from the high-revving R6 but tuned for real-world longevity. It's less about lap times, more about lifetime miles and owners. They are hitting 70,000, even 100,000 miles, with nothing but regular upkeep. Oil changes, chain adjustments, valve checks, every 24,000 miles. That's it. It's the ultimate middleweight commuter. Light enough to weave through traffic, comfortable enough for long rides, and tough enough to ride year-round. Heat, rain, snow. The FZ6 takes it all, and the rider feedback, unshakable. My FZ6 hasn't missed a beat in over 50,000 miles. Rock solid, rain or shine. This thing could easily push another 100,000. Maintenance is wallet-friendly. Tires average $300 every 6,000 miles. Valve service, around $300, but needed rarely. Oil changes run about $10 per 1,000 miles. Even full brake service stays near $300. Fuel economy, 40 to 50 miles per gallon, with real-world riders averaging around 47. And with its generous tank, you can ride nearly 200 miles between fill-ups. Used models, a bargain. Prices range from $2,000 to $4,500, depending on condition and year. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better deal. With bulletproof engineering, low operating costs, and a motor that just won't give up, the Yamaha FZ6 doesn't merely show up, it outlasts. And that's why it rides into our countdown at number 5. The FZ6 proved that modern reliability doesn't have to come with a big price tag. But long before it, there was a machine that defined what bulletproof meant, not just for a decade, but for generations. Coming up next, the bike that started it all and never stopped running. Number 4. Honda CB750. When it comes to motorcycles that just stay, the Honda CB750 is the original blueprint. Released in 1969, this was the world's first production superbike, and it didn't just change the game, it redefined it. At its heart was a smooth, air-cooled inline-4, famous for running strong past 75,000 miles, and in many cases, well over 100,000 with only basic care. Oil changes, valve adjustments, chain upkeep, that's all it asks for. Even today, CB750s from the 70s and 80s are still ridden daily. Classic or not, thanks to a massive production run and global demand, OEM and aftermarket support is still going strong, even 50 years later. Later versions, like the Nighthawk from the 1990s and early 2000s, earned sky-high reliability ratings. Many owners score them 4.8 out of 5, calling them as dependable as sunrise. Used prices vary by year and condition. Early models in good shape fetch around $1,200 to $8,000, while pristine restorations or rare trims can reach $15,000 to $20,000. Whether you're commuting, restoring, or just enjoying pure mechanical beauty, simple, durable, legendary, the CB750 looks like it was carved into history, chrome, steel, and mechanical pride. It's the kind of bike that feels like it belongs in a museum, yet somehow still runs better than half the bikes on the road. But fast forward a couple decades, and a new kind of legend rolled onto the scene. Sleeker, lighter, more understated, and just as immune to death. Number 3. Kawasaki Ninja 250R. Some bikes are built to be fast, some are built to be cheap, but this one, it was built to last. The Kawasaki Ninja 250R is one of those rare machines that refuses to die. Riders have clocked over 80,000 miles on these things, on the original engine, without so much as a hiccup, as long as they kept up with basic maintenance like oil changes and chain tension. There's no high-tech wizardry here, just a simple 248cc, liquid-cooled, 4-stroke, parallel twin engine workhorse that's practically bulletproof. Yes, older models need occasional carburetor cleaning, but that's nothing compared to full-blown engine rebuilds you'll see on other bikes. And the upkeep, practically pocket change. Oil changes usually run under $50. Full tire sets go for around $100 to $200, and brake pads, chains, and sprockets are all dirt cheap. Parts are everywhere, aftermarket, OEM, online. Take your pick. You'll never be stranded waiting weeks for a back-ordered bolt. But here's the kicker. The Ninja 250 isn't just reliable, it's fun. That 6-speed gearbox is smooth as silk. The handling, sharp and predictable. Fuel economy hits 60 to 70 miles per gallon, making it a dream for commuters and highway cruisers alike. And when it's time to sell, good luck finding a buyer who doesn't want one. These bikes hold their value with clean examples going for nearly what they cost brand new. Expect to pay between $2,000 and $3,500 for a clean example, depending on year and mileage. And that's money well spent for a bike that just won't quit. The Kawasaki Ninja 250R is proof that simple, reliable engineering still matters. The Ninja 250 is a commuter's dream, zippy, cheap, and damn near immortal. But let's say your road isn't paved. Let's say your commute includes mud, rocks, snowbanks, or no road at all. When the terrain gets ugly and the maps turn to guesswork, you'll want something that laughs in the face of breakdowns. And that's exactly what's waiting just in front of us. A machine built to survive where the pavement ends. Number 2. Yamaha TW200. Some bikes survive. This one refuses to die. The Yamaha TW200 has built a cult following by doing one thing exceptionally well, lasting forever. Powered by a 196 cubic centimeter, air-cooled 4-stroke engine, it's been chugging along since the 80s with almost zero design changes. Why? Because it just works. Owners report 80 to 100,000 miles on the original engine. No rebuilds, no drama, just oil, filter, and chain, and it keeps going. Its bulletproof simplicity is what makes it shine. No liquid cooling, no complex tech, just an indestructible motor, fat tires, and a low-stress 5-speed that's nearly impossible to stall. This thing eats up abuse, farms, deserts, snowy trails, rocky climbs. It shrugs it all off. With 10.4 inches of ground clearance and a 31-inch seat height, it's confidence-inspiring for beginners, yet still fun for seasoned riders. Routine maintenance, dirt cheap. Oil changes for $10, tires that last 10,000 miles, and valves that rarely need adjusting. Even if you pay the dealer, the 600-mile service runs around $275, but most riders just do it at home. Fuel economy? Try 75 miles per gallon. Range? Up to 150 on a single 1.8-gallon tank. Used or new, the TW holds its value. Clean examples sell fast, and even decade-old bikes still command top dollar. Most TWs on the used market go for between $3,500 and $5,500. Proof that reliability still drives demand. The TW200 isn't flashy, it's not fast, but when every other bike is in the shop or retired, this one's still riding. The TW200 is a survivor, a scrappy, low-tech mule that shrugs off everything the world throws at it. But what if we told you there's a bike that makes even the TW look mortal? A machine so reliable, so universally beloved, that it outlived empires, crossed continents, and became the backbone of mobility for millions? This isn't just a motorcycle, it's a miracle on 2 wheels. Number 1, Honda Super Cub. It is not just a motorcycle, it is the most produced motor vehicle in human history. Since 1958, Honda has built over 100 million Super Cubs, and they are still going strong. At the heart of this machine is a simple, air-cooled, single-cylinder engine. No gimmicks, just reliability. Owners routinely report over 60,000 miles on the original motor, some even crossing the 100,000 mark with nothing more than regular oil changes and chain adjustments. This is a bike that survives bad roads, bad weather, even bad maintenance. People have ridden Super Cubs on dirty oil, clogged filters, and bald tires and still made it home. It is feather light at just around 240 pounds with a low seat and easy shifting semi-automatic gearbox. Perfect for beginners, perfect for urban riders, and surprisingly capable on back roads. Fuel economy? Astronomical. Over 100 miles per gallon is common. That means fewer stops, less spending, and more riding. Parts? Everywhere. Whether it is a 1960s model or a 2025, you can still find affordable original parts with ease. And resale value? Near legendary. A clean, well-kept Cub can sell for nearly what it cost brand new, even after decades of use. Depending on condition, that usually means paying around $3,000 to $4,000, a small price for something nearly unbreakable. It is not flashy, it is not fast. But when everything else breaks down, this is the machine that keeps going. Because the Honda Super Cub doesn't just run long, it runs forever. If you made it this far, you already know. These machines aren't just bikes, they're legends. And the stories don't stop here. Click the video on your screen and watch it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, so you stay on the road with us. Every mile, every story, every ride.